up, guys? Back in the cup holder again. Wanted to do a primer video for a topic I wanted to cover and do some videos on. You know, it has to do with a big part of this channel, the whole, like, prepared citizen, Minuteman thing, like, all that kind of stuff. And just some things that I've kind of been seeing in the community, I've been praying about, and in my Bible time, God's had me back in Nehemiah, reading through that story. And if you've ever read the Bible and you know the story of Nehemiah, that's where people talk about they labored with one hand, and then with the other hand they carried the sword. And it got me thinking about, for the bulk of people, their preparedness and their defensive capabilities, and offensive in some cases, needs to be more integrated into their life. So it got me thinking of the concept of a Nehemiah man versus a Minuteman. Not to say that being a Minuteman's a bad thing, or you shouldn't do that, or whatever. But even like the way I structured my life, I can fill a Minuteman style role if I need to, and I know that my objective is more so protecting my family, my land, and my immediate area, right? Not necessarily going and fighting in any kind of major conflict or way. And so even the way that I've structured my EDC belt and stuff like that, and I'm going to do videos on my actual gear and kit and showing y'all how I have that set up. But sorry, I got some phlegm or something in my throat. But anyways, I wanted to do kind of the primer of the idea of being able to live in your kit. And one of the reasons that I'm so big on everyone having a pistol is because it's a modern day sword, right? So it's always with you. It's not necessarily the best weapon, but it's the weapon that you can have with you at all times. And so even like the way I've structured my EDC belt and my daily gear, and the way I have my layers set up for my line gear and all that kind of stuff, is set up around this principle of living in my kit and working out of my kit. So whether I'm crawling under a house to check something, whether I'm crawling under a truck to work on it, or delivering an air conditioning unit like I just did, or pick a thing, whatever I got going on in my daily life, I have my belt set up to support that as just part of life. So I always have my main gun, or my pistol, reload, weapon, or flashlight, multi-tool, trauma kit, tourniquet, all this stuff, right? And I'm not saying your kit needs to look exactly like mine. What I am saying is that for most people, your kit needs to be something that you can genuinely, truly live in all the time. A good example of doing it differently is my buddy. He's a smaller dude, especially compared to me. You know, I'm about 6'3" or so and 330 pounds. There's a lot of me. And he's, I think, like 5'9" and 175 pounds, something like that, 160. So he's not a very big dude. He ain't a stick by no means, but he isn't a big dude. And so he can't have his belt set up in the same way and layer on kit with it. So he goes with a more minimalist setup, but he has his battle belt that's set up very similar to how my everyday belt is. So if he needs to, he can go to that greater capability and still be able to layer on extra things like chest rigs and plate carriers and, pick a thing. But again, this video is just kind of a concept video to get people thinking and talking about the idea of living in your gear and with your gear. So you're always truly ready to respond to whatever the situation may need. And like I said, I'm going to do some videos on my actual kits and how things are set up, starting with the EDC video. But those will be coming out probably in the new year. I'm recording this early November 2025, and it'll probably go up mid-November. And then I got a couple other videos scheduled for this year, and so it's probably going to be January, February when I get those other videos out. But we'll see what God wants to do with all that. Anyways, so I appreciate y'all tuning in. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If this is something you're already doing, let's start talking about it. Start telling people how you're doing it and what being a Nehemiah man would mean to you, and being ready at all times to be able to work and to protect in one motion. And I'll probably do a video as well talking about the lessons that can be learned from the story of Nehemiah as men and our responsibilities in as much. But yeah, that's the upcoming set of videos I'm going to be doing in the new year. So appreciate y'all's time and everybody coming along for the ride. Like, comment, subscribe, the YouTube things. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.